Welcome, everyone. Turn that on so you can actually hear me. Thank you guys so much for coming. And let's see, we will start off by spotlighting our volunteer spotlight of the month. That's going to be Sasha Burns. I want to announce our October birthdays. Kim Parsley on the 6th, Monica on the 6th as well, Debbie Kokurik on the 7th, Miss Esther on the 13th, Carla Jones on the 16th, our supervisor Christine Tovar on the 19th, and Pierce Breach on the 25th. Happy birthday to everyone. We also have a handful of anniversaries this month. We have Ashley celebrating her 1 year, Monica celebrating her 1 year, Jane Reese celebrating 4 years, Darla Sanders celebrating her 7-year anniversary, and Cynthia Ramirez unfortunately is no longer with us as a volunteer because she is with Belong now. So it'd be a conflict of interest, but she would have been 8 years this month. And I will go ahead and hand it off to myself again because Laura is not here. We do have several new cases that came in here recently. We have a Victoria case. They are placed in Eagle Pass. It's two-year-old twins, little boys, and that is going to be Christine Tovar's case. Flora as well has a teenager. If you guys are interested in potentially taking another case, reach out to me and I can get you our full available case list. And Monica. Hello, everyone. So today I will be talking about, yesterday we started the volunteer training and we had 4 in training, so that's exciting. And we have 2 of our new board members that are in training class with us. So in the next month, we'll have 4 new volunteers. Yay! We have, I know we have been sending out links for volunteer opportunities. This week we have the Choral Parade. So we're excited. Thank you for everybody that signed up. And then on the 22nd, we have the Citizens 5K Run. We are needing some volunteers that morning. It's from 6:30 to 10:30. We did send out the link for that as well, so you could sign up if you're available that day. And then on the 29th, we have the Duck Safari, and that'll be 1 to 3 in the afternoon. And we also send the link, and that's going to be at the Lake Tracy Park. And then on October 30th, Magic 95 will be hosting their first annual trunk or treat. So they invited us to go over and set up, decorate, give out candy. And if anybody would like to go, that would be great. I know this year they donated the 6 night tickets to us for our kiddos. So it would be great for a lot of us to go out there so they can see us there. And then I also want to mention we are going to be having an LGBTQ training in November. We are still working on the date, but just look out for that flyer. And we're going to discuss gender identity. So look out for that flyer. Hopefully within the next week we will be sharing that out with y'all. And that's all I have for today. Now it's Nick's turn.
Okay, so my name is Nick. I'm the development director. For those of you who are wondering why I'm wearing a duck hat, it's to bounce off of Monica for the Duck Safari. And I just want to share some information. We're actually 34% of our goal. We have 137 ducks adopted so far out of 400, so that's really good. You can go to the Victoria Symphony website, and under teams we have the Golden Crescent Casa team, Golden Crescent Casa Firecrackers, so you can adopt ducks. And the safari is the 29th. They're 1 duck for $5, 6 ducks for $20, or 25 ducks for $100. And going into wine pairing, that is going to be on November 11th. We are going to be honoring Brother Gary for this event, and we're honoring him for his work supporting numerous organizations that better our community and all the work that he does with all these organizations to spread the word and kind of get everybody out there. A lot of nonprofits. He does great work. So we're going to be honoring him for this event. Tickets are $150, and you can purchase those through the Golden Crescent Casa website, or the invitation. You can just scan the QR code as well with your phone to purchase this. So that's all I have for you guys. Yes, ma'am. Sure. Sure. So the wine pairing event, it's actually a Thai themed event this year. So the pairing is just with food and wines. There's going to be a live auction, silent auction. A lot of the wines that we picked, well, the food is Southeast Asian inspired, but a lot of the wines that we picked are actually globally known. So the theme for that is going to be a small change in a big world. And the reason for that is that any change that you can make, whether it's being there for your children that you volunteer for, it makes a big impact in their life. So that's kind of all the information I have. This is my first wine pairing to go to and to actually fund. So if you have any other questions, I can get with you after, and we can definitely get some questions answered. Thank you very much. And Diana is next.
Yay, thank you so much for coming. I want to challenge everybody to pick their ducks and adopt their ducks. I have Lucky and Swifty and Hasty. I named all of them. I got 6 of them. So, you know, come on down and I hope you win. Maybe. I hope one of us wins. That's the main thing, you know. So, yes, please sign up. So we have a lot of exciting things happening with CASA right now. Oh, but this week, our first thing is our transition from with CPS legal workers stepping aside and belong legal workers taking over. And so Friday, all the caseworkers that you worked with were with CPS. Monday morning, they transitioned into their new position with belong. They've been reaching out to our supervisors, making sure that they have updated contact information and stuff like that, so you don't lose connection with your children. So if you're having a hard time, get with your supervisors. They can help you make that contact and keep this as smooth as possible. We're very excited about this new transition. I think community-based care is going to be really great for our kids, especially as the process moves along. If we can get our children move closer to our area, that will be wonderful. It will help children maintain their relationships with their families, friends, and things like that. And they end up being the winner in this whole process. So if you're having any trouble at all, get with your supervisors, and we'll be talking about it again at our staff meeting to see if there's anything that our supervisors need for myself or from Tim to make this transition go as smooth as possible. So we're really excited about that. The other thing is to reach our goal as being Texas CASA audit ready every day. I have been reading for a long time now, all your notes that you put into Optima and all your legal documents that come in and your correspondence and things like that. And they've been really wonderful. Many times, if you're doing a parent-child observation and you're writing about what you see, about how the parent is caring and nurturing and things like that, or brought snacks and things, I feel like I'm in that observation right there with you. And I know whenever you take put notes in there like that, when it comes time for you to write your periodic court report, it makes it so much easier, because we all know that everybody has demands on their lives outside of CASA. So the better the notes are, the easier the court report is when the time comes. So I really do appreciate all that hard work. And I can see how much each one of you care about the children and families that you're working with. And we really do appreciate that. I've always said to anybody that'll listen, we've got the best group of volunteers around, and thank you so much. Timothy?
Hey, got your lucky tickets ready? We're getting ready to pull.
Does anybody need a ticket if you haven't gotten one already?
Or who needs to? No, I'm kidding. Rhonda, she wants to. Let's have a good number here. Texas Roadhouse. Yeah.
217376.
Oh, yay. It's you again, Esther. Let's go to dinner with you. All right. You want one more?
Yeah.
We'll take care of some housekeeping. Oh yeah, we don't know, no hidden.
217379.
Oh, the lucky table, America. Well, thank you all. Kelsey, thanks for putting together this costume party for us all. I'm a CASA volunteer. I'm dressed as a superhero, so thank you. Let's see. Right now, we've started a new grant year. Happy New Year. That's the fun of working with government grants. There's always New Year's soon. And we have started again with another pot of money for volunteer travel. So if you're going to volunteer travel to go see your children or make a meeting somewhere, we have a new form that your supervisor will be able to share with you. It is required. It's a travel request form. So you do the travel request form, and you're also going to do the reimbursement form. So there are two forms that we want to get from the supervisor to make sure that you fill out so that we can get you reimbursed for your travel. So thank you for that. Also, we have legislative advocacy training that's coming up on October 28th. I hope that you'll be able to join us. It's going to be rather interesting. We're going to see where we go in this next upcoming legislative session. There's hope that we can be able to serve court-ordered services. So we're looking forward to doing that, working with families and children who have not been placed into the foster care system, but are working in a family-based service atmosphere. So we're hoping to do that. We're also hoping to visit with our legislators about the recent change that came along 2 years ago with the redefinition of neglect. We want to see what we can do to maybe clarify that definition and maybe have more kids come into care and not have to possibly suffer abuse any longer than one should ever have to. And that should be it. So that training is going to have a sign-up sheet, and it's going to go out on Friday in the CASA newsletter. It comes out at Kelsey's email, I believe, Golden Crescent CASA. So take a look for that. Sign up. It's only an hour and a half, so that should be pretty quick. And we're really excited to put together the gender identity discussion that's in November. We want to thank a volunteer for bringing that up and say, hey, we need to know more about this, because we have found in our conversations with volunteers in office that this is a real issue with the children that we're serving, and we don't really have a clear understanding of that. So we're going to work together to find that one out. We're looking to a Tuesday or Thursday evening, 5:30, 8:30, we'll have some dinner, and it'll most likely go across. So we're going to have that time for you out soon, so you can sign up and come over for that. And I know that, thank you for your interest in the wine pairing. It's our 14th annual wine pairing. So this is kind of exciting. This is where we have 4 to 5 courses that are paired with different wines that you can take that information home and say, oh, these two, this works well together. And it's something new for us to celebrate Brother Gary. He is a man that if you've ever met him, his schedule is a mile long every day. When you talk with him, he's got 5 different events he's going to go. He's going to stop in. He's going to do what he can to make everyone happy, to make that a better event. And so I think it's time to show him how much we care for him. So if you can let people know about the wine pairing, that'll be great. I know he's over the moon about this. He's excited and he can't believe that we chose him. He's done so much work. I'm thinking of people that have done so much work. Volunteers, great job, you all. We had 162 kids in care, 29 children had to volunteer, so we have an 82% coverage there, a volunteer to child. There's 102 families, and 21 of those families had to volunteer. So if you know of anybody who wants to become a volunteer, they're doing training on Tuesday nights in October, and we're looking forward to our big January training. So we're hoping that we can get everyone to volunteer soon. 7 children left care. 4 children hadn't volunteer, and 2 children were reunified with their parents. 2 children were adopted by relatives, and 3 children were adopted by non-relatives. And we want to thank Cynthia Ramirez, who closed out her tenure with Golden Crescent CASA for completing her case, and Nitzia Martinez and Service Dalton. They teamed together and worked with 2 kids. We did have 5 children come into care. Kelsey mentioned that earlier. So if you're interested in starting a new case, get with Kelsey and she'll get you some more information about that. And we had 57 volunteers working in September. And those volunteers provided 273 hours of service and drove 1,738 miles in the month of September, seeing their kids, making sure everything is being taken care of. So I'm sorry, I like the numbers, and year to date, it's 2,541 hours of service and 18,294 miles driven, and serving CASA's mission. And and they make me do this at Texas CASA. I have to give it a dollar value. And so you all donated over $66,000 in service. So you all really deserve it. Thank you. I would like to introduce Amanda Collins. I bet the calendar's moving faster than she thought. She is our vice president of the board, and in January, she'll become our president. And she's just going to give a brief update of what's going on the board and introduce us to Amanda.
Yes, lightning fast to the top.
I like it. The stretcher didn't look too bad then, did it?
I joined the board, I guess it was January of 2020, and we really didn't do anything in person until
Now.
So our board meeting, our last board meeting was the 22nd of September, and really the star of that board meeting was Andrew Merriman presented our audit, which came back flowing.
Yeah. That's always.
That's always. Trying to think of some other things. How many board members or vacancies do we still need to fill?
We have 6 of them.
Okay, so if y'all know anybody that wants to kind of dip their toe into CASA and learn, what everything's all about, we definitely need some skilled people in the room. COVID, we lost a lot of board members. There was people moving and just dropping out completely. And so we're looking to build the board back up to where we've got, we can divide the labor a little bit more evenly.
Yeah.
Do y'all have any questions for me? That's really
I think
the main things that we did in the last board meeting.
The board started something new, is they're inviting volunteers to come and share their story about their volunteer experience. We had Rebecca Woodson at the time before in the August board meeting, and Rhonda's going to join us in October. And so if you're interested in that, let Amanda know, or let one of us know, and we'll get you there. Do a bite lunch.
All right, well, then who y'all come to see, Selina Guajardo with the Texas Workforce Commission, but more specifically Vocational Rehabilitative Services. Yes. Thank you. Okay, hi, my name is Selina Guajardo. We do have a very long name, but you probably known us from different names or heard us before, but our new name is Texas Workforce Solutions Vocational Rehabilitation Services, and we cannot like make it smaller. We can't say GWCBR, that they want us to say the entire name, so everyone knows who we are. So a little bit about myself. I've been working here for 8 years. I got my master's degree 8 years ago. I'm a certified rehabilitation counselor, and I'm also an LPC associate. So that's kind of my titles and what I've been doing. Sorry, my throat's a little weird right now. So just a little bit of history. Vocational Rehabilitation Services has been around for over 100 years. We have had many different names. So a long time ago, 1990, it was Texas Rehabilitation Commission, and then we also had the Commission for the Blind. That was our first name. And then in 2004, we became the Department of Assisted Rehabilitation Services. That was previously known as DARS. And then in 2016, we merged with the Texas Workforce. So that's where our changes is. That's our history of who we are. So you may have heard of us before as DARS, and a lot of people still refer to us as DARS. And it's just easier, like, yeah, that's who we are, because our new name is rather long. Okay, so what is Vocational Rehabilitation Services? So we are a program that helps people specifically with disabilities prepare, enter, engage, or advance in competitive employment. So our end goal is about employment. And we work with adults and youth. So specifically for y'all, you'd be interested in the youth and even adults if you're working with parents in different situations. So, but specifically the youth is really important. They have to be in school. So for the age 14 to 22, we can cover and help them. We also help businesses and employers recruit, retain, and accommodate employees with disabilities. So it can be vice versa as well. So who is eligible for our program? As long as you have a disability and you have limitations to your job, you can be eligible for services. So there's 4 criteria we look at. Do you have a disability? What are your limitations to your job? And do you need any of our help that we can provide? And do you want to work? So those are the 4 questions we kind of ask ourselves when looking at who's eligible. The kind of cool thing about our program is that income is not a requirement for eligibility. So anybody can be eligible for our program as long as they answer yes to all these questions. So we always kind of give the example, you can be a millionaire and be eligible for our program. So that's kind of something fun that not a lot of people get to say. Okay, so what services can we provide to our customers? We provide services that are necessary for the individual with the disability to go to work. Like I said, everything that we do is about work. We can provide almost anything and everything to the person as long as it's reasonable and necessary. So there's a lot of things that we can do to help somebody go to work if they're needing help. And we'll get in a little bit into that right now. Some examples of the services are counseling and guidance, job placement services, job coaching, academic training, vocational training. We do vehicle modifications, assistive technology. We provide specifically transportation services. We have specialty caseloads as well that help people who are blind or visually impaired, and also who need hearing aids or are completely deaf. And then medical services, which is a really big one here in Victoria. So my position, I'm a vocational rehabilitation counselor and I'm a general caseload. So that means this is really what I do a lot. Most of my time is medical services. I help people who have a disability like osteoarthritis in their knees. We can pay for surgery to repair their knee, get a knee replacement if it's about work. And so I do a lot of knees and shoulders. There's not a lot of resources and medical resources here in Victoria. So as long as the person is working or wanting to go to work, this is something that I do on a daily basis. So, but for this, we're not insurance. And that's where the fine line is. It's about work. So as long as the person is working or wants to go to work, that's how we're able to help them. So we can do corrective surgery, physical therapeutic treatment, various types of therapy, and other medically related rehabilitation services. So some examples are, I mentioned knee surgery, but there's cataract surgery, shoulder surgery, carpal tunnel surgery. People have respiratory disorders, so they can use a CPAP, that need to use a CPAP machine, physical therapy. There's just about anything. So all the stuff that we can help with. And then our specialty services that I mentioned earlier, we have a counselor who specifically works with the deaf and hard of hearing community. We can offer interpreters, hearing aid assessments, and assistive technology. For our individuals who have blind and visual impairments, that is a whole other program on their own, but they're still with us, but they do so much. It's like the whole list here, but they can provide diabetes management, orientation mobility services. They have teachers that actually the person is going blind, they teach them how to cook, and they teach them how to do just different stuff to live their life with their new disability. Vision assessments, glasses, cataract surgeries, that's a big one. And then we also have OID services, and this is for individuals who are 55 and older who have a visual impairment, and they can do assessments, help them with independent living. So that program is a little bit different. It's not necessarily about work. Just anyone 55 and older can qualify for that program. This one's a big one. So this is where you might, when working with your CASA kids, I guess, is that what we refer to them? Okay. When working with them, you may see if they have these resources or if they want to in their schools. They should be referred in the school, but they don't have to be. Anyone is welcome. I left some flyers up there how to apply. So anyone's welcome to apply. But transition services, we have counselors. We actually have 3 in our office that go into the high schools, and they cover all the Golden Crescent area. And so they work specifically with 14 to 22. They have to be registered in high school or in school. This program is really awesome because they work with them while they're in school, trying to see if employment is the right route, or training, or technical school, or different things, and they kind of figure all those things out before they graduate. So then when they graduate, they have a plan. Okay, I'm going to school. Okay, I'm going to work. Or they also provide opportunities for them in the summers to work, and so they can get that work experience, because a lot of people, when they're graduate, or a lot of students don't have that work experience. They don't know, they go into their first job, they have no idea what to do. We actually provide them those opportunities while they're in high school. So that way when they graduate, they already have, hey, I worked at this summer job for the last 3 months, and they can put that on the resume. We do also help pay for college if they're interested in going to school. I know they're in the foster system, and there's a program that pays for their school, but if they need help with books or any other expenses that come with school, we can cover those expenses as well. Let's see. Yeah, it's a really awesome program. They're really focusing, and there's a lot of funding for this. They're trying to get students before they graduate, so that way they're not lost later on and have a plan after they get out of high school. Our main goal is the successful, that's how we're measured by our production, is by successful employment. So that means that the individual has gone to work after services have been provided. They go to work for 90 days. We monitor them through those 90 days. And then afterwards, we close our case successfully, and you can reapply or come back to our program at any point after your case is closed if you feel like you need to. So yeah, so that's kind of like this is the end goal, I guess, employments for everybody. So sorry, I did not make this PowerPoint, so I don't know what is next. Okay, so making a referral, you can call the phone number that's here. There's a website. I also give you the flyers and tells you how you can have the individual apply for services. And then I think this is just contact information. I'm not too sure why or what I need to say about this one. I'm sorry. Let's see. Oh, and this is our federal funding information. We are funded federally and by the state of Texas, so we do have 2 funding sources. But yeah, that is the end of my presentation, I think. Yes. Okay. Cool. So questions? Yes. So we do not do shelter workshops. We don't. The state doesn't want our customers in shelter workshops. So we do have some resources where we can provide work experience training where we hire somebody to go out with the individual and be on the job. So we have a couple cool programs right now. One's at Interclass, where it's a work experience training. It's for 12 weeks. The state actually pays their wages. They get paid $10 an hour. They go over there, they have a job coach with them, or they call it a job skills trainer with them, helping them on the job the entire time that they're there. And then hopefully the idea is that after they finish that training and that work experience, that they're hired on shortly after. So it's a really neat program. We have one there and at Dallas, I believe. So we have 2 programs right now going on with some of the plants. So, yeah, but we don't consider that successful employment because we want them to be our, if they're in a sheltered workshop, they're not out in the public, and that's not what we want. We want them to be out in the public working and having those opportunities.
Transitional period. She could not go into a work situation even as a mentor like that. So there's no other kind of places for them to get work experience.
Yeah, I mean, they have we offer classes where it's called vocational assessment training, and that's like more in the classroom setting. But in that setting, they can take them out and do different things, but it's more of a classroom training at that point. Yes. And you may ask if they're already working, they may already be working with a counselor. I was talking with Amanda earlier, a lot of the students that get referred to us from the schools, they're already in special education, or they have a 504 and IEP, which stands for an individualized education plan. But you don't have to have those things in order to be part of our program. It could be if you're the CASA student or CASA child that you're working with has anxiety or depression, they're not maybe diagnosed, but they're struggling in school, definitely reach out to us. We can even get an evaluation done on them to see what exactly is going on, and then see how we can help them and start helping them in that process. But they don't have to be in special education for us to help them. So. And then also if you're dealing with any like the parents or whatever, they're saying they're not working or they can't work because they have a disability or they need help figuring out what they can do, or they want to go to training because their job, they're not making enough. Those are all people that you can refer over to us as well, and we can try to help them with advancement. If somebody's working and they need to make more money, but they have to go to school to get a certain certification or something, then you can refer them and we can pay for that certification training so that they can get advanced if they have a disability. Yeah. It's a lot of different, it's a big program. It's like, man, okay, can I do this or can I do that? So yeah, if you have any questions, answer this for you.
When I read reports that we sometimes mention that a parent hasn't a job, and we sometimes see and may have some issue with mental health. Would that be someone that?
Most definitely, yes. Mental health, I have several customers that I'm working with right now with substance abuse. They're seeking help, or they have to be some sort of program. They have to be maintaining their sobriety. But if they're struggling with their substance abuse, and then usually substance abuse is paired with a mental health disorder. But that is also mental health. It's not on there. I need to tell Megan to add that. But yes, mental health disabilities as well.
So what does that look like? Volunteer is with the parents. So, oh, you should really reach out to these people. They call you. What happens?
What happens, the process that happens, they call in, they get assigned a counselor. The counselor meets with them, and they, at that point, we take what is called a diagnostic interview, where we just basically ask them a whole bunch of questions like, hey, what do you think is keeping you from working? Oh, well, I don't get along with my supervisors. I don't like when they tell me this or they tell me that, so I just quit. It's like, okay. So that happens a lot, and so they end up quitting spontaneously, can't keep a job, and that's usually an indicator for us that, hey, there's more going on. They may have some other issues. So immediately we ask them if they're going to Gulf Bend, and if they're not, we always refer them to Gulf Bend because that's a comparable resource for us. But if there's more testing needed, we can send them for psychological evaluations, psychiatric evaluations. We can figure out what are those things that are keeping them? Do they need to be on medication, or do they need counseling? Do they need, what type of treatment do they need? And then at that point, we develop that plan. We figure out what is they're wanting to go to do for work, and we write a plan on them, and then we see through, make sure that they follow everything that we set up on that plan for them.
And so a normal plan would take a couple of years, I guess, or?
We try to do it within a year,
Okay.
but it just depends on the person's cooperation in the program as well. We do have timelines. We have 30 days to take somebody's application. We have 60 days to determine their eligibility. We have 90 days to write their plan. But right now we're being pushed to shorten all those days to 15, 30, 45. So yeah, and I have about 100 people on my caseload. So
Oh, okay.
yeah, we have a lot. Yes, sir. Yeah. So we can pay for public transportation for them. We can give them a bus pass to go to work for work purposes. If you're looking for employment, if they need, hey, I paid for a bus pass for somebody in the past who, hey, I'm looking for work and I want to go just drop in on these places. Okay, so we gave them a bus pass for a month, let them go and look for jobs and stuff, and then say, okay, I have a job now. Okay, so we pay for the next 3 months, but then we also teach them, okay, when you get paid, this is how much your bus pass costs. So make sure when you get your paycheck to say however much your bus pass is going to cost you, so that way you can continue to pay for your bus pass to get to and from work. Yeah, we're not intended for long-term services. So like, we don't really want the years. I mean, we'll keep, if we're sending somebody to training, obviously that could be 4 to 5 years to get a bachelor's degree.
The speaker, and so when I tried to join audio to make sure like you could still hear like people answering and asking
Yeah.
questions.
It still picked it up.
I was like, "What's
Yeah, so basically it could take, how, the goal is employment. So as long as they're actively looking for employment, we can continue to assist them. But we also try to prepare them that, hey, we can't be here forever. So it's, hey, once you get that job, you need to start preparing for whatever expenses you may have and all those types of things. So that's the counseling and guidance part that provide to them. So. Did I answer your question? Okay. Any other questions?
Where are some of the offices located in this is just one in Victoria? Like Luncheon County, or how is?
Okay, so in right now, Victoria, we are actually located at the workforce office downtown on Main. That is where our office is. The counselors that I mentioned to you, the specialty counselors, are all in there. So we have a deaf and hard of hearing counselor in there. We have 2 visually or 2 counselors. They don't have visual impairments, but they work with a visually impaired. Sorry, I always say that backwards. We have 3 general counselors and we have 3 transition counselors. From all of us in our office, myself, I cover Calhoun County. Some of the other counselors, we go to Edna, Goliad, Cuero. And then we have an office in Gonzales, and she covers those surrounding areas. And we have 2 counselors in Vivo, and yeah, and then it's very complicated how they separated us, but we're actually part of Corpus. So our unit covers all the way to Corpus. So we have all the Corpus area and in between. Corpus all the way up to Victoria, Edna, or Jackson County is the furthest we cover, north. And then that goes into another area. So, and then we go all the way to Gonzales. Yes, that's covered by Gonzales. Mhm. Yes, that one is in Gonzales. It's a one counselor office, so it's just one person, but if it's a specialty case, yeah, if it's a specialty case, it'll come out of the Victoria office. Yes, ma'am. So the safest way to do it is the forms. There's, one of the flyers I left up there, there's ways to apply. You just you just give them the zip code and they'll tell you exactly what office you need to go to. You don't have to figure that out. It's all on there, so you can figure out who you prefer. But yeah, any other questions? Yes, ma'am.
So are you services, not your office, but are their offices like yours across the state?
All over Texas, yes, ma'am.
So we have children in Kerrville that need.
Yes,
there
ma'am.
would be somebody up there.
Yes, ma'am. So the best way to find us is through your actual workforce office, because they, this past year, what did we, 22, okay, 21, we were all required to merge into the workforce office. So officially across the state, every VR program is at a workforce office. We are co-located across the state. Yes, ma'am.
Is there a deadline for the kids to sign up for the summer program?
They need to be a student, they need to be in our program already. So like for next summer, if they can start, if they want to, if they're interested, I want work experience. Okay, great. And they're in high school right now, they're a junior, and before their senior year, they want to work. If they register now and let them know that they're interested in working and wanting a part-time job, they can get them set up for that. They call it summer earn and learn. I don't know if anyone's heard of that. That's what they call it, summer earn. Oh, okay, yeah, so, and that's not the only program right now. My other coworker was supposed to come with me, and she works with students specifically, so she had a lot more knowledge to give on that, but they have a program right now where we actually pay these providers to go into their classrooms and teach them work skills, like it's an actual class. So, yeah, it's pretty.
Like a lot of our kids are not placed in their home communities.
Mhm.
If they would find, would they find their currently residing, or would they have to find their?
I would recommend wherever they're living right now. The cool thing about our program is over COVID, we went virtual. So your case can get transferred the same day, basically. If they come back home, they can come back this get transferred over. So we're all over really any workforce office where we're at. But any other questions?
Always here to thank you.
Yes.
I also have some business cards if anybody would like them. I forgot to leave with them.
You can feel free to call me if you're not too sure about something. Oh, I don't know, this is what you meant. They all